Hello, hi everyone. So this is my first stream. This is it's a bit scary. I've been doing like recordings of stuff before. You might have seen me on my YouTube channel, where me and some friends of mine, play role-playing games and have a good time of it. But I've been wanting to stream, and I made a New Year's resolution to at least try it. So this is that. And though I have, as I said, been recording myself before, this is like differently. This is intimidating a different way because you don't have the potential safety net of post-production to rely on. I have not really been investing a colossal effort in preparing for this. Mostly it's been a mental effort to build myself up to try it. But yeah, I figured it might turn out that I don't enjoy this, and if that's the case, then I don't want a lot of effort to have been for nothing. So instead, here I am doing this, just trying it out. So we'll be playing Morrowind today. And the reason we're doing this is because it's one of my favorite games. And I thought, I might as well play something that I enjoy and that I feel like I can relax playing while I try this streaming thing out. So hopefully you'll enjoy having fun with me here, but if not, then, it's fine. Not all games are for everyone. And there is a dividing line in how people think of and appreciate Morrowind, whether or not they do. So, yeah, we're gonna be playing some Morrowind. First off, let me just deal with something out here. Right, so I've already set my options. The options for this game has basically been set in a manner that I'm comfortable with. This is also not just regular Morrowind. This is modded to hell. This has been modded both graphically and in terms of performance and little tweaks here and there. It's just, yeah. So anyway, let's get started. Each event is preceded by a prophecy. Indeed. In the waning years of the Third Era of Tamriel, a prisoner born on a certain day to uncertain parents was sent under guard, without explanation, to Morrowind, ignorant of the role he was to play in that nation's history. They're talking about us, guys!
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison. First by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Wake up. We're here. Why are you shaking? Are you okay? Wake up. Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name?
Yeah, so first question, always the hardest question. What's our name? I feel like our name's Tamriel. Tamriel seems like a good name.
Well, not even last night's storm.
This is Chip.
I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
I mean, look. I wanted to say put on a shirt, but, don't.
Quiet. Here comes the guard.
This is where you get off. Come with me.
Sure. Bye, dude.
You better do what they say.
Thanks for keeping me company. Alright, so we're on a prisoner ship when we start out in this game. We arrived from, I think, from Cyrodiil. From the Imperial capital.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
I really hate your armor.
Now, prisoner.
Yeah, I hear you, but I really hate your armor. What is this,
On
like?
deck. Now, prisoner.
Ringmail with plate over it and then this studded
On
leather
deck.
monstrosity?
Now, prisoner.
And a butt plate? Yeah.
On deck. Now, prisoner.
Alright, chill your shit. I'm going to... Look at this thing. So, I'm not partnered with Twitch because this is my first stream. So, you're probably not, like, able to... I don't know that you're able to fully appreciate how gorgeous this is to me, but this is beautiful and should still be very beautiful on stream. This is just... Like, the people working on, like, the graphics modifications for this game, it's just, like, they're saints. They do good work. You do good work, gentlemen.
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
Sure.
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
Alright, so time to pick a race. I'm gonna go with Dark Elf for this playthrough. So this game, Morrowind, is placed in the eponymous region of the world, in the province of Morrowind. For you who are like vaguely familiar with Tamriel and with the Elder Scrolls setting through the other Elder Scrolls games, but maybe not have played Morrowind before. Morrowind is the home country of the Dark Elves. Specifically, this game is set on the island of Vvardenfell. Though I have a mod installed called Tamriel Rebuilt, which is a work in progress. That is basically a group of very talented, very dedicated mod makers constructing the whole rest of Morrowind province, which is amazing. Right now it's not completely finished, but we'll be able to look at the map once we're done with character creation. I'll show you. Basically the entire Sacred East has been finished, complete with like landscape, with cities, with NPCs, with quests. It's like professional level stuff. It's amazing. Anyway, so let's make a character. I will be playing a Dark Elf. We'll be playing, let's say we play like a male. I like this face. It's like a, he has a little thing going on with his chin there that I don't know that I'm sure I like, but there's like a kind of like like he looks approachable. What else do we have? Let's just look through here. The sass brow. Like, really? Bitch, really? That's the eyebrow of someone either incredulous to what they're observing or someone whose face froze like that. And that's pretty cool too. Like I don't know what these what those kinds of like I don't want to say tattoos, right, but like those modifications are called. I think it's like I might be wrong. I think it's like an African tradition of like body modding. It's pretty cool. So some eyeliner thing going on here. Oh, not this eyeliner, but you got some raccoon eyes on this one. Yikes. Well, I guess this is the face of a person who hasn't aged that well. That's pretty cool too. What we got here? Got some good stuff. This is the face of Jup from down below. We could embody Jup and just move on in the world, but let's look what else. That looks unfortunate. Yeah, that just looks silly. None of that. Oh. That's pretty badass. I mean, let's be honest, that is pretty darn badass. We're gonna stay with that? I feel like I want to like just be rocking that ink all day long. Could go with the old face, an uglier face. The feng shui of this face is wrong. Also cool. This feels kind of like is not as approachable, right? Like there's a bit of a sneer going on. And then we have the old faces here, the unmodified. Yeah, let's go back actually. Let's I want to go with like the hyper inked face. This one looked fun. And then for hair, I know my favorite hair. This is the one. Yeah, the red mohawk and pierced ears. This is definitely what we want to go for. So the question is, should we go with another face? I don't know. This one. That looks pretty darn cool. But how about the first face we looked at? That was the one. No, let's go with like just a face full of tattoos. What could go wrong? All right. So there we go. Ah, the beard though. The beard is the wrong color. Okay. Let's go with this semi-scowly face here that has the cool little dots, the studs. Yeah, that's the one. So, talking character creation in this game is pretty simple. It's not as in depth as maybe like that you might be used to from like newer RPGs like Pillars of Eternity or similar games. Still though, there's a lot of complexity to this game, way more than you would think, and indeed some people find that the game's level of complexity don't agree with them. But let's just look at what we got here. So we have a bunch of different races. These are like native to different geographical regions of the game setting. Although we're playing a Dark Elf, we won't be like a native of Morrowind province. We'll be like from somewhere else. A Dark Elf born in a different region of the world who has arrived in Morrowind, which makes us an outlander in the terminology of the Dark Elves here. But as a Dark Elf, we get Ancestor's Guardian, which is it gives us Sanctuary, which is a you can't hit me spell effect. It makes it harder to hit for a minute, and we have a passive resistance to fire of 75%. This is not insignificant in this game because if you think about it, so this is a thing that I really like about this game. There's like a kind of verisimilitude or like connectivity happening between the fiction of the world and the mechanics of the characters going on here. So Dark Elves have a 75% resistance to fire. You might be thinking, okay, so that's just like a stat they have. But this game makes that make sense by having a lot of fire-based enemies living natively in this world. Like there are creatures like cruising around on Vvardenfell and in Morrowind who like deal fire damage, and indeed the center of the sacred island of Vvardenfell that we're on, like the entire island is basically a giant volcano. So having like high fire resistance is not only useful in this game, but makes sense in the fiction that we would have it. So we have athletics. This is our running stats. We have destruction, which is this like exploding magics, light armor, which is this makes sense, like just self-explanatory. Long blades, marksman. We have mysticism, which is also a school of magic, and we have short blade. So a thing you hear about this game a lot is that the combat system is unintuitive for an action RPG, and there is a validity to the argument. The problem is that if you come from Skyrim and you're used to like swinging your sword and then hitting things because you had your cursor on their hitbox, that's not how it works in this game. This game has stats for your ability to swing and hit things, and if the die roll that happens secretly behind the screen does not agree with, like, it doesn't come up in your favor, then you're not hitting, even though your mouse cursor is on the target and you're in range. But like there is some level of validity to the argument, but I would also argue not really, because if you want to make a character, a role-playing game character who can hit things in combat, you have the option of doing so playing this game. You can play a red guard They have like a bunch of weapon-based stats. You can then like start out with having, you can give yourself a boost to your agility, which is your swing and hit thing stat, and you can give yourself a boost to your to the weapon of choice. So basically, like you can make a character who is unlikely to miss ever. But we'll be going with the Dark Elf now. We'll be much less adept at anything.
I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
Sure, dude. So this guy's new. So is this, I believe. It's just like a little. If you were familiar with Morrowind and you are thinking this doesn't look like Morrowind, it is, as I mentioned, because of the modding. It's pretty extensive. Okay.
Yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
So we have different options for generating our character. Now, answering his questions will just like throw a class at us at some point. Giving him the info basically means like picking from a list of classes, and we can fill out what class we'll be playing ourselves, and we'll be doing that. So I want to play a magic-based character, and picking that for specialization means that we get a +5 to all skills in the magic category, which are the following, and that it's easier to increase them. We'll be picking, so there's a bit, I'm gonna be doing a bit of min-maxing here, just a bit of min-maxing here, by picking my skills, and this is based on my familiarity with the skill system of this game, which I will explain as we play. So, I'll be picking endurance, for the simple reason that it's increases my starting endurance. And every time we go level up in this game, our HP is gonna increase by an arbitrary number based on our endurance. So starting out with higher endurance means more overall HP as we level up during the game. And I'm gonna be boosting our luck for the other simple reason that you can increase all, if you play this right, every time you level up you can increase any stat by 5 points. You get three stats you can increase, and if you've played it right and you played it smart, you can increase it by 5 points. With the exception of luck, which you can always ever increase by 1, and only 1. So, we'll start with a higher luck, meaning us spending less time boosting our luck. Simple. For skills, we're gonna be going largely into magic, but the reason there is a motivation behind picking these skills that I'm picking. Which is, in a nutshell, that the skills we pick here are major and minor skills. If we level these skills up, then once we have leveled 10 skills up, of any of these in any order, we gain a new level. This sounds awesome, right? Like we want to go level up, but actually a thing about this game is we want to keep to back a little bit off from leveling up. We don't want to level up too fast, and this is none of that Oblivion bullshit, arbitrary escalation thing where it's just like, oh, I'm level 14, so consequently brigands are equipped with magic Daedric weapons. None of that nonsense. This is simply because if we play it smart, if we level a certain set of skills, we can do the stat boost I mentioned earlier, and therefore this is not really about what skills do we want for our major and minor, this is about what skills don't we want for our major and minor. So what we're actually picking here is the skills that won't cause us to level up. Let's go with blunt weapons for this one. Hand to hand, and spear. Go with spear? Let's say we go with spear. Spear is fine. We could be an adventurer. We could also be a murder hobo. But we could also be an adventurer. Let's be an adventurer. Class description. Vagrant of homicidal inclination. There. Now we understand. We're on the same page now.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
If you're familiar with any of the Elder Scrolls games, you probably know these star signs. we're gonna be picking the only choice, in my opinion, the lady. Because, although there are a bunch of really awesome star signs, and they all have cool effects, like, all of them are valid choices, this is my favorite. The lady's favorite, basically because it's a raw permanent stat boost. 45 personality, 25 points. Are 25 points we won't have to bother like leveling up in game. And Lady's Grace of 25 points of endurance. As I mentioned earlier, more HP, be cool, yo. So yeah, let's trick out that endurance.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Sure thing. This also has the added benefit, like us starting with higher endurance means that we start like we get more health more easily, as I mentioned, which is good because we're playing a magically oriented dark elf. It could be worse, we could be playing a magically oriented high elf, in which case we would get our asses handed to us constantly and without mercy. But by having higher endurance, we get more HP, we can take a bit more punishment. By playing a dark elf, we're more resistant to fire, so there is like we have like a buffer against certain forms of attack, so we're in a decent space when it comes to just like going out there and throwing ourselves into a bunch of adventure. So this sounds right. Tamriel, dark elf adventurer, the lady, all of this looks fine. Yeah, this is good stuff. And as you can see here, right, we start with an endurance of 75. Now, if we had wanted to, and if we had, like, let's say we had been wanting to play the aforementioned melee-oriented character that I spoke of, the hypothetical character, we could have started out with an agility that was way higher than 40, and we could have started out with, let's say, like a long blade skill that was way higher by just doing another combination of classes and race and star sign. So you can really make of character creation mostly what you want in this game. With the understanding that you start out as there is a starting level that all characters like exist below, and then we get severely better as the game progresses, and as we get items, because items are super juicy in this game. Cool.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
Will do, sir. For release by Emperor Uriel Septim, the 5th, 6th, 7th? The 7th decree, to district of Vvardenfell in the province of Morrowind, Tamriel, the Dark Elf Adventurer, signed Sotius Ergala, agent of the Sidanine Imperial Census and Excise, on the 16th of Last Seed, the 3rd era, the 427th year. Cool. So, if we take a look around here, you'll notice here, there are books.
Continue through to the next building and talk to Celes Gravius.
I am halfway inclined to read all the books I come across. I won't. Mostly, like, for your sake, if you watch this now, or if you're, like, watching it later on. Like, I'm not gonna, I think, be reading all the books. I might be reading some of them, just because I want to. But there is a lot of lore in this game, which is amazingly cool. And I mean, I really could like go all out lore hound on this game because the lore is really, really awesome. For some of the books, I'm not interested in. Let's put it like that. Like the history of the Empire is not super exciting. It basically talks about the Imperial line, which is an entertaining enough story. It talks about like, you know, like the heir of this or that person then became emperor, and like they got this jewel that they handed down. There's a reference in there to you, like to us being the players of the game. If we played the former games, Arena and Daggerfall, there are a reference to like some hero who like did something important, and like that's basically like a nod to us if we played the former games. We could be cheap and just like start out by stealing this thing.
Do you take me for a fool?
I know like some of you might like just hate me now like immediately, but chill. It's okay. This is a well documented, used by many, cheap ass way of starting the game out with a little bit more cash on hand. We just basically, so we this is like exploiting the game's mechanics, and we won't be doing a lot of that because I don't actually like doing it. It's just to give us a little leg up to start with. We don't actually need it. So we stole that, which is of course like causes the guard to come rushing, and because we're in the tutorial building, we won't get thrown in jail. We just get a slap on the wrist. But because we threw the thing on the ground, the guard isn't taking it away from us. He's just gonna... When we get caught stealing, or get caught doing anything criminal, the guards will confiscate any items that are stolen. So by throwing it on the floor, we avoided that, and then we picked it back up, and it didn't count as stealing, because game. But out here, we will be looting literally everything. Firmament. Yeah, so this is like an explanation of the star signs from a lore perspective, which is super nice. So we picked up a lot of garbage here, and this is not going to be indicative of the entire game for me, although like sometimes I just like steal everything that's not nailed to the ground. Generally speaking, when we go adventuring, we will be setting the bar for what we steal at like... We won't be picking it up if it's not worth like 5 times its weight in gold, basically, like thereabouts. With some exceptions, like we will be taking all consumables, we will be taking all alchemical ingredients, because we can. Did I really accidentally pick the wrong hair? I don't think I did. I totally did. I suck. Okay. Alright. So we have different directions. We can slash, we can thrust. Hriskar, don't think I've forgotten our wager. I want this dagger sharp as a scamp's claw by morning. Ganseal. We'll be talking to Hriskar once we get out of here, because he is one of the NPCs out here in town that will give us a somewhat lucrative quest to begin with. Yank these torches. Just literally just take everything. All bunch of alchemical ingredients. Our alchemy is not high enough yet that we know what any of these things do. We'll be doing something about that somewhat swiftly, and that's one of the reasons I didn't pick alchemy for one of my major skills, because I like alchemy a lot. And so we'll be using it, and don't want to just like accidentally hyper level ourselves doing so. So here we are. So this dude is essentially our first quest giver. We gave him our release identification thing, and yeah, let's take his papers. Thank you. Word is that you arrived only yesterday. Words of your arrival reached me yesterday. I'm Silas Gravius. My background is not important. Let's ask him about his background. He's a knight-errant of the Imperial Legion, and welcome to Morrowind. All right. Yeah, we are here on the grace of Uriel Septum, and I don't need to know more than that. When you leave this office, you are free, but before you go, I have instructions on your duties. Instructions from the Emperor, so pay careful attention. Okay, our duties. This package came with the news of your arrival. You are to take it to Caius Crusades in the town of Balmora. Go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for Caius Crusades. They'll know where to find him. Serve him as you would serve the Emperor himself. I also have a letter for you. a dispersal to your maim. All right. So we got a bit of gold. We have a package for Kaya's Crusades. We have directions to Kaya's Crusades. Let's ask him about him. Report to him in Balmora. I can't tell you where to find him, but you are to go to the Southwall Corner Club and ask for him. Someone there can direct you to him. Cool. So we have a bunch of conversation options. In this game, it's like generally advisable to talk to everyone about anything. There's a lot of repeat text, and we won't bother reading it out or like actually just do anything but skimming it over. But every now and then, we will find someone who has a quest hidden for us, who by taking a conversation in a certain direction, will like remind them that there is a thing they want to do or say or something. So that's a thing. This is our social options. We can admire people, intimidate people, taunt people. We can bribe people. Bribing is basically a kind of surefire way of increasing their disposition towards us. Whereas admire can raise their disposition to us. Intimidate can do the same. Admire goes off our personality and our speechcraft. Intimidate, I think, goes off like other stats. I'm not sure which, but I seem to remember that our reputation factors into it. And then there's taunt, which is a way of getting people to attack us, which means that if they attack us first, then killing them in self-defense is not a breach of the law. So that's a useful way of murdering NPCs without getting into conflict with the long arm of the law. And the long arm of the law happens to hit very hard in this game and be very well equipped, and so yeah, that's a thing we generally speaking we want to avoid getting into fights with the Imperial Legion or the Ordinators or anyone else. Right, free men. Journal. Okay. So this is where we start. Let's actually save the game here. So this is Tamriel, stream game, beginning. Alright. So, welcome to Cydanine. A swampy, coastal nothing of a city. Let's talk to this guy. It's not by accident that he's the first character we see.
From where do you hail?
Yes, hello, Fargoth. Are you the one the boat dropped off? Odd to see a boat arrive at that time of day. I hope the Imperials treated you okay. I swear, they took my ring. Your ring? We found a ring. I swear one of those guards has it. I had it last week, before their weekly Let's Shake Down Fargoth ritual. An engraved healing ring, family heirloom of mine. You haven't seen it, have you? Yes, I found it. Here, take it. You found it! Amazing! Thank you! Thank you! You are now my favorite friend. I'll be sure to tell the others, especially my friend Ariel, who Ariel? Arelay? I don't know, Ariel. Who runs the trade house here. Go see him. He'll be happy to see you now. Cool. So, by giving him that ring, we got a disposition boost with the local merchant. And having a high disposition with merchants can give you a pretty significant discount in this game. And not having it consequently like cost you a significant extra chunk of change. So basically in this game, like be on good terms with the merchants, and be on good terms, or at least the merchants you deal with, and be on good terms with trainers, because they also give you a discount based on their disposition. So yeah, basically just a good idea all around. This is a real straight house, and here he is. Sup, dude? Welcome to a real straight house. I am a real publican and proprietor. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. You're a new face here. If you want to buy from me, you have to barter. If you want a little advice, free to new customers, just ask. Would you like to hear about our most popular potions, our most popular scrolls? We would like to know about all of these things, but let's start at the top. Latest rumors. I heard that Riskar upstairs is having some financial troubles. Can't seem to win a wager these days. Ah, see, that's fun, because it tied into the very first thing we found out from that note. But we'll help him with his financial troubles. If you want to live to a ripe old age, buy a weapon and as much armor as you can wear and still run from trouble. Buy a spell or two and practice your skills. So, as much armor as we can wear and still run from trouble. We can get over encumbered and not be able to move, but actually this also has some, like, This is the game telling us something that we will notice if we pay attention, and if we don't pay attention, it'll go completely over our heads, but I'll tell you now. So the more encumbered we are, the slower we run. And we'll reach a point where we get over encumbered, we can't move at all. But yeah, so basically, like, this means being unarmored as we are, we will run as fast as we can. But if we start putting on armor, we will start moving slower because it will encumber us. Also, take a note of his disposition here. 92, because Fargoth put in a good word for us. So, yeah. Absolutely worth. We'll be saving a good deal of cash from trading with this guy now. And, spoilers, we'll be stealing the ring back. Shh, don't tell him. Anyway, don't forget to practice our skills. Don't practice on citizens. We call that foul murder and we don't like it. But you can kill smugglers and bandits and other outlaws all you like. Outlaws have no rights. Plenty of adventurers make a living from killing and looting outlaws. That's smuggler scum down in Adamasartus, for instance, the cave down near the Siltstrider platform. Yeah, local naming conventions kinda like this. And what's fun about this is that I say kinda like this with kind of this hesitant, you know, sucking my teeth thing where I, you know, it looks like it's just like, why would you even do this? But as it turns out, it totally ties into the culture of this world, or into this the culture of this province and this people, because the Dark Elves, before they adopted their current religious system, basically worshipped the Daedra. And you may be familiar with the Daedra. They have complicated names. So that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, let's talk about your popular potions. Cure common disease and cure poison potions are the most popular with travelers. Fortify strength, endurance, speed, and agility are very helpful in combat. Fortify personality is popular with merchants and shy persons. So nice. Of course, Fortify Fatigue keeps you fighting at your best. Restore Health and Restore Fatigue are perhaps our most popular items, and for a short burst of power during a fight, you can beat Grief, Shine, Flynn, Matse, Maste, or Sujama. And that's true. So these alcohols gives us like a pretty significant strength boost, which means that actually it's a good idea for us as adventurers when we go dungeon diving to bring booze, because if we down a bottle of Sujuma, we'll be getting a buff of like 40 points to our strength. We will be absolutely like shit out of intelligence because we'll be drunk as hell. So we won't do it when we need to cast spells. But for carrying stuff, pretty damn useful. Popular scrolls, vigor and vitality, best-selling bargain items, restoring fatigue and health, respectively. Amsivi intervention and divine intervention transport you instantly to the nearest temple or nearest imperial shrine. Good for routine or emergency transportation. Hardwise helps persuasion. Summon skeletal minions, brings help in a jiffy. And Drathis Winter Guest does a lot of damage at a touch. Handy to whittle a too tough opponent down to size. So, remember that this is the home province of Dark Elves, and because it's a home province of Dark Elves, everyone here has 75%, oh, not everyone, but all Dunmer we meet have 75% fire resistance, or more. So for that reason, it's actually a good idea that they mention, like, this first spell we're looking at here is a frost spell, and not a fire spell. It's maybe, I don't know if it's by intention, but it's actually helpful. And practicing our skills, whatever. We know how to practice skills. So let's start out by like emptying out our inventory. Is this worth anything? It's worth 1 gold. I don't know. We'll be keeping these alchemical ingredients because we want to use them for practice. And in return for this, what will we be having? we'll be having some scrolls of Undoosi's Unhinging. This is good because we can open some locks in town with these. If you're wondering, like, what kind of run is this gonna be? This is gonna be a I'm just playing to chill out kind of run, but it's not gonna be an honor run. We're not gonna not steal everything. We're gonna steal a lot of things. We'll get some scrolls of Amsim Intervention because we can. That is all for now. Gonna barter you down. There we go. Some spells. Take Spark, maybe? No, we'll take Frostbite. Yeah, that's it. We don't need any more right now.
An honor, to be sure.
Sweet. Alright. So, yeah, like, looking pretty shitty. We have some spells going on. Our primary spell is going to be, at least to begin with, is going to be Bound Dagger, which uses Conjuration. We have a good chance of casting it. It's dirt cheap. And not only does it give us a very powerful weapon that we can swing very quickly, it also boosts our Conjuration. Slowly but surely.
What's your story?
Hello, Thriskar Flatfoot. You look like you could use a friend, Outlander. Perhaps I can be your friend. I'd like you to help me recover some gold. That's right, see, I had a bad run of luck playing 9 holes, and lost a bit of money. Normally I'd be fine. We can usually keep some gold in our pockets just from the money the locals pay us for protection. But I know some of them are holding out on me, especially that little fetcher Fargoth. He's come up light in the past couple of weeks, when I've shaken him down. I know he's stashing it somewhere. I'd like you to find Fargoth's hiding place. I know the little fetcher's got one somewhere in town, just not sure where yet. I've already gone through his whole house, so I know he's not hiding it there. I'd like you to find out where he's stashing his gold, if you can. I'll give you a share of the wealth. Are you up for it? Yes, yes we are. Excellent. Here's what I want you to do. I am not sure where he goes, but I know he wanders around town at night. Watch his movements. The best vantage point is on top of the lighthouse, south of town. That will give you a nice view of all of Sidanine. If you keep an eye on where he goes, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out where he's hiding that gold. Cool. So, we have an update, a quest log. So let's go and do that immediately. I mean, immediately, I don't know. What time is it? It's not night yet, is it? Where's the sun? Ah! Okay, yeah, it's midday. Nope. Never mind. We have some time to burn. We can do something else. So there are a couple of quests in the nearby area. Now, if you are new to this game, you might be tempted to just rush out there in the wilds.
Something, friend?
And then you might have had an experience of being horribly murdered. Yeah, that's true. This game has a rep for being hard, and it very much can be, but it's also not unforgiving, or at least not as unforgiving as it is as its reputation holds. It's a game where you
have my attention.
Thank you. Where you sometimes find yourself in confrontation with something bigger and tougher than you, and in those situations, the best thing to do is basically just like pick up your butts and run. And that happens, but we can all, like, the game has so many options going on for it. And that's perhaps one of the best things about this game, is its complete devotion to an awesome setting. And, I mean, I can't praise the setting and the atmosphere of this game enough, and the level of detail that went into it. But also their commitment to just, like, letting you run wild around this place. Like, we can do so many things because the game's mechanics permit it, and because the game designers aren't afraid of letting us do it. Let's pick some mushrooms because we can. So, you know how in Skyrim, for example, or in Oblivion, if we kill someone who is quest-centric, the game is not gonna kill them. They'll just like fall over and pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and be a-okay. Not in this game. If we kill someone who's quest-centric, they are dead. And congratulations to us for killing them. The game will inform us if we kill anyone who is central to the main storyline of the game. It will give us a little warning that says something about our actions have severed the strands of fate. This little hidden thing here. I know where some stuff around here is hidden. I don't know where half of the hidden items in this game are. I just know some of them here in the beginning. Because wouldn't you think I've been here before? There is so much hidden stuff here. Every time I play this game, I find something new. New quests, new places, just always. So good. But so yeah, when we kill someone who's quest-centric in this game, the game will just tell us, like, you killed a character who is essential to the main quest of the game, and so now you cannot complete the story. Are you okay with this, or do you want to load back from before you killed him? That's just... And like, it doesn't stop us from doing so. We can kill every quest-centric NPC we want to. And just rule the roosts in as much sense as the game will permit it. There is also so much more that we can do, like with the skills and options available to us as characters, because the game doesn't like administrate. What am I trying to say? So, just as a side note, this is the Bound Dagger spell. This is a Daedric Dagger that we now have for a short amount of time. It deals a ton of damage, and it fortifies our short blade skill by 10 points. So the Bound Weapon spell's pretty good. Pretty damn good. At least coming fresh out the door as we do. Anyway, as I was saying, so for example, like, you know, in Skyrim. Right? In Skyrim, you can ride a horse around. You can take a wagon somewhere. You can fast travel by going into the map and clicking on places. In this game, we can not fast travel. There is no fast travel in this game. We can just walk places and run places. There is a wagon, or like, not a wagon, there's a bus system, which I'll show you. It's amazing. It's like a giant, like a local creature that we ride. Super interesting, and in my opinion, a good chunk more interesting than a horse-driven carriage. Where? Up there. Local icky life here. So a lot of bugs going on in this world. These things called scripts paralyze you if they bite you. They can paralyze you, which makes them, like, I mean, they're intensely weak and easy to defeat. But if we're in bad luck, or we try to kill one while something else is coming down on us, then we risk suddenly finding ourselves paralyzed and attacked from all sides by whatever else is there. So yeah, but yeah. So in this game, we can walk around, we can run around, we can fast travel, not using the map, but like using bus services. We can go on ships, and they will sail between harbor towns. But what we can also do is we can fly. Yeah, we can fly. We can create flying magics, so we can learn flying magics, and we can just like shoot through the air without a care and look down on the little ants below as they mill about. We can also teleport, and we can use transportation magics to take ourselves to any temple or any I don't know what's it called, the imperial temple. What's the church? The church, like the 9 divines places. I forget what they're called. We found a corpse out here. We found this corpse because I knew where it was, of Processus Vitellius, who is a tax collector. If we talked around inside an inn, we would know that there is a tax collector missing. We'll just be taking all this stuff. We could also try and dispose of his corpse, but we can't do that with this guy. Normally we would be able to do so with anything, but you know, with some some bodies you can't do that with because their bodies are quest-centric. In this case, we won't ever be coming back to him, so it's just like a little detail that we can't remove his corpse. But yeah, so we have some extra money now. We have some better clothes we could put on some dead man's clothes. There we go, much better. Corpse warm. And of course, that's not where it ends, because we found a corpse while traveling near Vvardenfell. It seems to be the corpse of Processus Vitellius, based on some items found on his body. He is carrying a parchment with what looks like tax records. He also had 200 gold on his person, on his body. Probably taxes he'd collected. Now, this means nothing to us inherently, and there is no... You see, like, the quest log didn't tell us, go there, go to a place and do a thing. But if we take this tax record and look through it, we can see that he works for the Vvardenfell Census and Excise Office, which means we can go and talk to them and see if there's anything, like if they have anything to say about this. And as circumstance would have it, they do. If we go with this scroll to them, they'll like give us a job. However, we can also do something different. We can read through it and we can like do our own little investigation. So we see like there's a bunch of people who've paid their money, right? They paid their taxes. The trader, unsurprisingly, had the highest amount of taxes he owed. He owed 450 drakes. But if we look at the people who have not paid, we see that this guy, Foreign Gilnith, owed a bunch of money. Right? He owed 225 drakes, a lot of money, but he hadn't paid. So, just based on that alone, we might get suspicious. We might think, well, hang on a minute, maybe we should go and see this Foreign. Is that what was the name again? This Foreign Gilnith. See what he's about. And looking around, we'll find that he lives here. So this is the dude. Let's save the game. You'll note that I save often. I am like a complete save scum. I'm actually restraining myself. Well, you would just be seeing like quick save every 2 steps. But I'm trying to restrain myself for the sake of the stream. So, let's talk to this dude. Foreign Gilnith, I'm fine. What can I do for you? Let's talk about the murder of Processus Vitellius. That fetcher. You're damn right I did him in. And a good thing, too. He was skimming a load of money from all of us honest people, overcharging us on taxes and keeping the difference for himself. He was always flaunting his money around, showing off his new clothes and jewels, so I killed the bastard and left his body out there to rot, with all his ill-begotten gold still on him. And that's true, right? He didn't steal his gold from him, so this is definitely like a murder for the sake of murdering this asshole, not to rob him. So, even though we might believe him, we believe what you say and I'll say nothing to the authorities, nope, that's wrong. Is still no excuse for murder, and your punishment has been decided.
You Inwa.
You're one of them, huh? Come to kill me? Well, give it your best shot, Dark Elf. I have no problem spilling more of the blood of the Emperor's lackeys. Alright. So what he just did there is something you won't see that in actual Morrowind. It's something we've modded. So in actual Morrowind, you know these like abilities I got out here, these powers, like Sanctuary, 50 points on self. This is a Dark Elf ability, this is not a player character ability. But in the game, the NPCs would not use their race-specific powers. In this modded version, however, they will. And because he's a Dark Elf, he has Ancestor's Guardian, which is what he just cast. That gives him Sanctuary of 50 points for a minute. He will be, to us, with our low-ass short blade skill and our low agility, he will be completely untargetable. We won't get a shot in on him. So let's try to hit him with Frostbite instead. Failed to cast. There we go. We did it. Alright. So, the spells in this game are not do not have a stats related to hitting them. Like if we do as we did here and we like touch someone with a touch spell, or we shoot a firebolt at someone and hit them, then they are hit. The stat factoring of where the stats interact with spellcasting is whether or not we're able to cast it at all and how much magic it takes, and if we have enough magic to do it. And yeah, he took Processus Vitellius's ring, so it's not entirely true. You did take his ring, dude. We're gonna be keeping that ring because it is one of a limited amount of very valuable rings in this game, and very valuable rings are really good for enchanting later on. So, be keeping that. This is a Dance of Fire. Usually by looking at the value of a book, you'll be able to tell that it has... it's either extremely rare, which is the case of some books, or it might have a skill that you will learn from reading it. So if we read this, I think it's our unarmed, either our hand-to-hand combat or our skill at not wearing armor will go up. So let's just plunder this guy's house first, and then we'll look at that. As I said, typically speaking, we won't be picking everything up, but in this case here at the beginning, where we're like literally like 2 steps away from a trader, we might as well. Also, now that he's dead, we can effectively use his hammock and sleep in here. So let's actually do that. And rest until healed, and that regained us our mana. Now, as opposed to other Elder Scrolls titles, I think Skyrim had regening mana. Yeah, I think it definitely did. We don't have regening mana here. We don't have regening life either. The only thing we have that regens is our fatigue. And more on fatigue in a second. No, our mercantile skill went up from a Dance of Fire. Okay. So, here's a story. I'm not gonna read all of it. It's pretty long. But basically, I remember this story. If I recall correctly, this is a story of a dude like and his 2 merchant buddies arriving in a foreign kingdom to trade with the head of the local state, who is like this magical creature who's an embodiment of, like, he physically embodies all of his people, so he changes appearance and like mannerisms like based on how his people are doing. Also, it's night now, so let's go to the lighthouse so we can observe Fargoth, see if we can see him. But yeah, so that's the story of this merchant trying to land like a big deal with this creature who is like far removed from typical people in that sense. And him not thinking he's good enough for that little steal that later. Let's have a look. Yep, there he is. Sneaking around. So we'll just keep an eye on Fargoth here. But yeah, this game, it has so much going on. We'll be like, I guess I'll like talk to you about like whatever I think of as we see things and as we explore different parts of the game. But the lore of this game is rich. There is so much stuff. The setting is the single coolest setting of any Elder Scrolls game, like bar none. Yeah, like of course this is like a matter of opinion, but you can take your opinion and you can